Our next speaker, Josh Dix. Now, I love Josh Dix. I remember meeting him many years ago. I don't remember exactly where it was, but I remember just being impressed with him. The way he carried himself as a young person was an impressive thing. Josh also started in 2008. It must have been a really good year for us. He started selling Cutco in Appleton, Wisconsin, right? And he's originally from Chicago, which is why he's a Bears fan. He just, by the way, recently bought Bears season's tickets. I'm sorry, Josh. That wasn't an investment, right? Anyway, just kidding. I love the Bears also. Anyway, here's the next thing. His first summer, he sold $20,000. Again, didn't break any records, but that's a good amount of Cutco. Made $5,000. During the SC2 push, he sold $10,000, right? Back then, that would earn you a rock. He, as Buddy referenced, he ran a branch office then. So he was an assistant manager, then ran a branch office 4 different times. What a branch manager is, he's going to probably explain. So I'm going to not say. Then he became a pilot sales manager. I'll probably talk about that too. He was promoted in 2015, 7 years after he started, to district manager because he started at a young age. That first fall didn't go exactly how he wanted it to. So his first 8 months as a district manager, it didn't break records. But that next year, he just took himself to the next level. And they were the #1 new office in the country. One of the representatives that worked with them, became an assistant and pivotal, was Carlos Shoemaker, by the way, and Siggy Steve, for those of you that know him. He's earned 15 company trips on Vector, or again, all over the world. And he's earned the Sword of Eric. He recently was inducted to our Court of Honor, which is helping people sell $5 million plus worth of Cutco. He's currently added another $1 million after that. Right now, he's living what he says is his best year ever. Getting promoted to division coordinator and getting engaged to his wonderful fiance, who I happen to know, Courtney. They're a great couple, outstanding couple. His interests, by the way, are space. He loves space. He talks about space often, politics, and his beautiful fiance. Those are his words, by the way. A little weird, but it sounded like me. All right. Anyway, why is he talking about the Vector opportunities? Because he's living the life of his dreams right now, and his focus is to inspire others to do the same. What I can tell you personally about Josh is I've seen him grow and commit more to his personal growth and development because he cares about his people so much in this last year that I've had a chance to work with him. Josh, thank you very much for preparing a great message.
Great. Thank you, Mike, for all those kind words. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's talk about the Vector opportunity here. Now, most of you probably don't know this document. There might be 1 or 2 of you on the call. But in 2011, it sold at auction for a record $1.6 million. It's from 1976. And what this document is, it's the original Apple contract. And what makes it valuable isn't the quality of the paper that it's on, it's the lessons that are involved in it. So you'll notice some of the signatures at the bottom, right? You probably know who Steve Jobs is and Steve Wozniak, but some of you are probably unfamiliar with the name Ron Wayne. And the reason why you're probably unfamiliar with him is he was the 3rd original founder of Apple. But most people don't know his story because he left the company after 10 days on the job. He wasn't ready for the roller coaster ride. By the way, he sold his 10% stake in the company after 10 days for $800. In today's current valuation of Apple stock, he would be worth over $100 billion. I think it's fair to say that he made a mistake, right? And it's interesting, and I think it's also fair to say that he never really gave it a shot. And when he was interviewed later on, and the press was asking him about it, he said, I just wasn't ready for the emotional roller coaster of starting up my own company or starting my own company. I wasn't ready for it mentally. And then he also said, you don't know you're at an inflection point in history when you're at that inflection point. And it reminds me of each of you. Elon Musk, one of his questions when he interviews people is he says, tell me the story of your life, the decisions you made, and why you made them. When I think about each of you on the call here, each of you are at an inflection point right now in your Cutco career. I'm guessing there's at least a few of you on the call where the only reason why you're here is because your manager literally dragged you to the Zoom, right? And they're like, you're coming, and you're like, and you don't even know if you want to keep, selling Cutco a week from now. And if that's you, that's great. Most of you, and then there's probably others of you that you're in for the summer. You're ready to rip the cover off the ball for SC2. You're going to win a scholarship. You're going to be a 12-5 Rock winner. You want to get promoted to assistant or branch manager by the end of the year. You want to get inducted in the Leadership Academy. And if that's you, that's great. But I'm guessing most of you are probably somewhere in the middle. And my hope is by the end of this message, you have more clarity on the decisions that you can make going forward and how they can shape your future. Whenever I'm thinking about, is this the right opportunity for me, or is this something that I want to continue pursuing? I always ask myself 3 questions. And the first question I like to ask myself is, am I growing in my role? Is my role pulling the very best out of me? The second question I ask is, does the excitement of my work life transfer to all other aspects of my life, and vice versa? And then lastly is, do I contribute to something a little bit greater than myself? Am I giving back? And I want you to know that you have options in Vector, right? Let me walk you through a couple different paths. One great path is our professional selling path. And our top representatives in the entire company, they are career sales professionals. They have families, they have lives outside of the business. They have a great flexibility, and there's a great income opportunity as well. So here's some numbers that you want to get down. For those of you that are just getting started out, there's a few different options that you have. The number one option in a team that I would get on is our Fair and Show team. Our Fair and Show program right now is exploding, and we can't staff it soon enough. We are looking for high caliber, high quality people. I know in every single one of these divisions. How do you get on the Fair and Show team? Two reasons, or 2 ways. One is get to at least $15,000 to $20,000 in sales, then you can start shadowing. And then the second one is just tell your manager that you're interested, and they'll get you set up with the Fair and Show coordinator. Another option that you have is being a service call rep. Now, being a service call rep is also kind of goes hand in hand with the Fair and Show team, but there's people all over the US that have Cutco that don't want to send it back to the company, so you actually can go over to their house and sharpen it for them. Another option is our CGC program, or our Closing Gift Consultant program. And this is another area where we can't staff this fast enough. We are in dire need of more high quality people and high caliber people. I think you all know the housing market is red hot right now. This is one of the premier opportunities in all Vector. So basically what a CGC does is they help, they work with realtors, and when realtors sell a house, the CGC will typically give a gift, right? Or the realtor will typically give a gift and some Cutco. And then the last sales aspect could be business gifts, helping sell to businesses. Those are typically bigger orders. So that's on the sales side. In terms of like the options that you have in management, the number one option is the assistant manager. We're always looking for assistant managers that are hungry, ready to learn. And personally, I don't like to work with people that are just like, I only want to be an assistant. I look for people that want to become branch managers, and they use the assistant position as a springboard to get that position and learn the skill sets, right? Another way I like to look at it is, as an assistant manager, you're really a branch manager in training. It's not a career position, but it's a great position to get a lot of awesome resume experience as well as Cutco skills. The second option that you have is being a branch manager. Now, I'm going to share with you guys my path in a second, but you don't need to exclusively go from assistant to branch manager. We have people that go from sales rep to branch all the time. It takes a special kind of person, but somebody that like that is like a Caleb Stevenson or an Alex Van Slyke, both of which started this summer. I want you to picture yourself at SC1. They started right around the same time as you did, and within 12 months, they're coaching their own team, they're running their own office, and for them, that's really hyper growth. The next position is the pilot sales manager, or our division office manager. This one is the most important position in all of Vector. The people that get promoted to this position, they're typically the best of the best branch managers. They have multiple years running office experience. And as a pilot sales manager is where people that it's basically a position for somebody that wants to learn how to run an effective and efficient district office. And that's where they really learn how to scale the business. Again, they're the pilot of the ship. They're the captain of the ship. After that, another option could be a district manager. Now, also, we have sales representatives that go right from sales rep to district manager. We also have assistant managers that go straight from AM to district manager, and we have openings in that position as well too. The difference between a district manager and a branch manager is it's a year-round position. It's a career position. I'm going to talk about some of the perks in a little bit. Buddy kind of hinted you get our DMs, they get BMWs. I was at I'm going to do a side tangent here. I was out in Scottsdale for the month of March, and I had to get 4 of my tires replaced. And the guy was just talking to me about my car, and he's like, "So, like, what got you into BMWs?" And I was like, "It's a funny thing that you asked. My company actually like buys it for me." And his jaw dropped. He's like, "Your company gives you a BMW?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's pretty cool, right?" And all the other district managers, it's something that like companies don't really do. But at Vector, as a DM, you have that. And then also would be a division manager. And so I want to talk to you just a little bit about my journey. When I first started, I started as a sales rep. What Mike said, I didn't light it up. I sold about $20,000 my first summer. I made $5,000 and I loved it. But I was yearning for something more. And I really found that in the assistant manager position. You know, one thing I absolutely loved about being an assistant manager was not only was I like still getting to do the Cutco thing and sell a lot and lead through my own personal sales, but also I was like kind of getting the back office experience too. I was learning how to run interviews. I had my own team that I was responsible for, that I was coaching. And it really gave me that taste of leadership and to see what was possible. The very next year, I was promoted to branch manager. I loved being a branch manager. I ran 4 of them. And, you know, it was one of the coolest experiences that I had in all of college. I'll never forget it. After my first year running a branch office, we didn't light it up. We did like 60,000 for those of you, the branch managers on the call, but I felt like I kicked, you know what, that summer. I felt great about it. And I remember telling, you know, my family, my uncles about it. My uncle was just, you know, at cocktails with a coworker one day, telling him, like, bragging about me. And by the end of that cocktail, I get a phone call the next morning and they're like, "Hey, we want to fly you out to Dallas to interview for a large packaging company for an internship out in Vietnam." All because of my branch manager experience. I turned it down because I wanted to run another branch office. There was more in the tank. And from being a branch manager, I decided to move the next scale up, and that was as a division office manager. And what I loved and what I learned about being a division office manager is it was very challenging. It was one of the most challenging positions that I've had, minus my new role, but it was one of the most challenging positions I had because I was responsible for the success of the division. So goes the pilot office, typically so goes the division. And what I loved about that is it really taught me how to scale the business. And like when I was used to doing maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars for the summer as a pilot, it was much larger scale, right? And it really changed the way I viewed things. Then after that, I was promoted to district manager in 2015. We didn't have the best year ever, but again, I grew a lot and I learned a ton from that experience. And the very next year after that, we were number 1 in the company. And then my new role now as division coordinator, I was just promoted in January. So that's kind of my journey, but everyone's journey can be different, right? Some people, they start off as career sales professionals, then they move into management. There's also some managers that start off in management and then they decide that actually, you know, their true calling is in the sales field, right? So you can go either way. A couple things that kept me here and that keep me here, and then I absolutely love about the job that I'd like to share with you. The first one is the income opportunity. It's unlimited. And here at Vector, you can really earn what you're worth, not what somebody else thinks you're worth. And you are in 100% control of how much money you make. And for those of you branch managers on the call that are curious about the DM opportunity, the one thing I'll tell you is the district manager income is better than the branch manager income. So if you like your paychecks now, they're even better as a DM, right? But I just want to brag about some of our branch managers from last year. Last year, here were the numbers as branch managers. We had 65% of people that ran offices as branch manager college students. They made over $5,000 last summer. 43% of them, 90 out of 383, made over $10,000 last summer. 29% of them made over $15,000 last summer. And then 12% of them made over $25,000 last summer. When you factor in the income opportunity on top of the real world experience that they get, the branch manager opportunity is hands down the premier opportunity for a college student, not only to make a lot of money, but to get meaningful work experience that allows you to interview a company versus a company to interview you. And nearly half, 46% of employers believe that there's too much emphasis right now on book learning versus real world learning. And 96% of employers think all students should have experiences outside the classroom to teach them how to solve problems. Who here wants to be in a leadership position at some point? There's a saying that the what goes up, goes upward. At the higher that you get in the leadership, all you do is just solve problems and your problems just get bigger. Right. So the better you are at solving problems now, the more that will serve you later on in life, whether it's in your relationships, in your work, whatever. So what are some of the resume and skills that you're going to develop in management or part of the Vector opportunity? One is you're going to learn some advanced communication skills. You're going to have the privilege to speak publicly. And that is a skill set that if you ever want to be in a position of influence, you're going to have to develop. Right? You become a great listener. You learn, you grow, you learn how to manage your emotions, or you work on your emotional intelligence. You learn negotiating, right? And then also you're going to learn some interview skills. Lastly, it's the lifestyle. Because here's some of the places that I've been on Vector's dime or that Vector allowed me to go because of the flexibility. Puerto Vallarta, Maui, Rome, Jamaica. That's actually a picture of us, Jamaica, at a cool sugar plantation, one of the coolest golf spots that I've been in a very long time. Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Panama, Germany, Switzerland, Portugal, Japan, Vietnam twice, Australia, Cabo twice, and Paris, France. What's the saying? When you travel, you expand your worldview. And what I love about Vector is they really put their money where their mouth is, and they invest in their people. They give them that lifestyle. Some other things that I love about being a Vector manager is are there some times where the job can get frustrating? Yeah, of course, like any job. But then I get in my BMW and I turn on my heated steering wheel and I drive to my office. I'm like, maybe my life isn't that bad, right? I was able to buy Bears season tickets now. Great investment. I can't wait to see them go to the playoffs for the first time in a long time, right? Or I was able to take my beautiful fiance. I was like, hey, let's go see Elton John on his final tour, right, that he's ever going to do. Let's go and get awesome tickets. And then we went, we loved it. And I was like, let's go back again. We were able to see him twice, right? Or maybe it was seeing like Maroon 5 or being able to go see the Rolling Stones with Mike Muriel. All of these different signature experiences I wouldn't get if I wasn't here in Vector. And then the big reason is the contribution. I love these guys. I am so excited to be working with this crew in Skyway, watching them grow up in the business, get better, and mature. At the end of the day, our noble cause is to live the life of our dreams and inspire others to do the same. And that's truly the essence of the Vector opportunity.